Yeah.
A really quick overview. Welcome guys to the Hacker Collective's first Tech Stories webinar. We'll be hosting professionals from different areas of software development. So today we have a special speaker, my former boss, Gautam Mishra, who is here to talk about his journey as a software developer and tell us a little bit about his insights on the future of automation, as well as what does he think about technology post-COVID-19? What will the impact be? And we hope to get a behind-the-scenes look at the technology at work in Grab as well. So a little bit about us first, the Hacker Collective. We're a community of self-taught coders who wish to upskill as many people in 2020, especially during this COVID period. Yeah, so I guess we can go on to introduce. So please introduce yourself, Gautam.
Hey, hi everyone. Hi THC, and thank you, Alice, and the whole team of THC for inviting me here. I'm very actually excited. I didn't know about this group earlier, but the more I saw in the content of the group, I feel it's doing great actually, and it's quite a good group. I already requested for the join. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, as Alice said, I'm her former boss. I'm from Grab. So I'm originally from India. I did my Bachelor of Technology in Computer Science Engineering. So I'm like a proper computer science guy, but I'm not that good. I feel like the newcomers, the interns are doing really great, and I'm a bit scared of them. They might take over. They might take over, especially after COVID-19. So to answer your question, I mean, that's actually a very broad question, how it would look like after COVID-19. So with the current scenario, we can see that many countries are already, hanging in between. They don't know where to lead to. It's not just about computer science, it's about everything they're doing. It's very tough for them to move in any direction right now. And they're also running out of resources, and not just running out of resources, but many resources are also running out of jobs. So there is going to be a new sort of understanding of development of infrastructure post COVID-19, which can ensure a better working environment as well as job opportunities. A lot of countries are already doing a lot, and actually, I mean, with COVID-19, there are many apps which are for COVID tracking worldwide, as well as there are apps which can tell you who near you could be positive in COVID-19. So those kind of apps with the proximity sensing, so they are there. So a lot of work is already going on. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of apps are being developed, especially like gaming apps, because people are free and organizations know that they have enough time to play. So they are doing that. But the thing is, after post COVID-19, these people are not going to have time to play. So, for these kind of industries like gaming, which are targeting audience for like the audience who are free during COVID-19, not post COVID-19, during COVID-19. But when this is over, are they going to play the games? And definitely there will be a huge cut down in this industry in terms of resources, because they won't have enough work to do. The game is already out there. Probably less people are playing also. So I would suggest don't go after short-term things, which might seem very lucrative right now. Think a bit broader. Yeah. So these are like, very instantaneous thing. They are not going to last long.
All right. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for your response, Gautam. I guess we can first ask you some short, quick questions just to get to know you better, as a developer. Yeah. So first things first, what's your favorite programming language?
My favorite programming language. That's a tough question because yeah, it's a lot of languages are very good actually, but I would name two for me. One is C Sharp and the other is jQuery or say like JavaScript. Though JavaScript and jQuery are like scripting languages, you cannot categorize them as proper programming languages. But these days, the line is very blurred between these two.
Yeah, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, second question. Mac or
Mhm.
Windows?
Windows. I'm die-hard Windows fan.
Okay, nice. Windows. I'm
Yeah.
a pro Mac person.
I think for programmers, Windows does give you more liberty to experiment with the system itself. Mac is bit controlled. It's good. You cannot hack into the system. You cannot jailbreak things, but it also limits your capability.
I
Amming
see.
is saying Linux. Definitely, Linux is one of my favorites, and especially because it's open source and free. So Linux. I mean, I respect Linux. I have the greatest respect for Linux, but I would go for Windows any day.
Okay. I guess one more short question is favorite code editor.
Favorite code editor. I mean,
Yeah.
if you talk about, then there are two options. Like if you talk about free one or open source one, then definitely Visual Studio Code.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you talk about like those who can support frameworks, full-fledged and sometimes paid also, then Visual Studio, which is like you can get community edition for free, but definitely you cannot use it for enterprise. But it's way more powerful than any other editor out there in the market.
I see. Yeah, I think people should
Mhm.
definitely get into Visual Studio instead of VS Code, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Cool. So, the first thing I want to ask you is how, like, tell us what you've done in the past that helped you get your first job. Like, yeah.
First job. My life is a story of a struggle actually. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just tell
yeah.
us a bit about your struggles, your past, what kind of challenges you face. Yeah.
It struggles. It's a nasty story. So basically, I was born in a very poor family, like poor, really poor family. We didn't have enough to, do anything. Our financial condition was really, really bad, and sometimes we didn't have to eat, you know. So the food was kind of the basic problem for us. We didn't have food even. So, I mean, but the good thing is that my family always ensured that we get education, regardless that they were sleeping hungry sometimes, but they made sure that we are getting education. So my schooling was good. Unfortunately, I didn't have books, so I used to go to my friend's house and just study with them. And then, fortunately, my neighbor had a computer and he allowed me to use it. And yeah, then I got interested in C programming. So I was introduced to programming when I was like 11, I guess, in sixth standard. So then it was okay. Like I worked on Turtle and basic programming. But later on, when I was in eighth standard, around I guess 14 years old, then one day my teacher actually scolded me, not in eighth standard, it was ninth. So he scolded me for the bad marks in one of the paper, which was computer science. He was computer's teacher. He was a really, really good. I haven't seen any better teacher than him in my whole life. So he was very young, just like me. He was a guy and he was very chill. But he scolded me and he said, "You deserve better. Why you're not doing things like the way you should do?" And then I kind of realized that actually, people trust me when it comes to computer science because I have a bit of maybe logical brain or something. So then I got really interested, and then I started programming in C and trying out other things, and then it just grew in me. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, but then I gave up.
I see.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, I just want to jump from here to my job history, which you initially asked, which is so after my schools, I got graduated from a college, which was a very crappy college actually. So I wasn't able to get jobs. It was very tough for me, and especially because I was from a city which is not known for IT industry. So the companies were really less, and all of them were looking for, person with experience or with a lot of knowledge and everything. And being a fresher, you don't know everything, right? And if you don't have a job, you don't get experience. And if you don't have experience, then you don't get a job. It was that
Yeah.
kind of deadlock.
Mm.
So yeah, then my friend opened a company. I joined that. It got closed for some reason. Then I asked one of my other friends that can I join your company? And he called me, and I was interviewed, but they said that your interview wasn't good because especially I was C# programmer, and they asked me questions about VB.NET. So I was quite, they gave me a task to do on system, and I took a bit of time. They were like, "You failed the interview, you can go home." And I was like, "Sir, I just want this job. Just take me for free. I won't ask for a single penny. You just take me. I just want to learn." So yeah, but after 1 week, I was fired because of slow programming. And I was so demotivated. Then I started preparing for other jobs for government services. But unfortunately, I met with a back injury and I wasn't able to go to many interviews. I was bedridden for like 2, 3 months already. Then one of my friend went to Delhi, which is capital of India, and he called me there, and he kind of introduced me in his company, and then I got my first job, and then he taught me a bit of programming in jQuery and C#. And then I never looked back. I just kept improving myself. I jumped from one company to other company, and that's how it has been.
Oh, I see, I see.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, for me also, I think it took me a long time to get my job, to get my internship at Grab. Yeah, had to try
Yeah.
many times. Yeah, cool. So,
Yeah, but I think you are better than me in programming, so you will get easily a job.
no, no, no. Hey, Yasser and Lucas are in the chat as well.
Yeah. Lucas is a
Yeah.
bully.
Yeah, so actually we have in this chat we have my what do you call intern teammates as well, Yasser and Lucas. Yeah, you can say hi. Yeah, so I have another question. It's
Mhm.
what strengths do you think are the most important for a developer? Like,
What is strengths? I think there are two things which are really important for being a software developer, especially if you're asking, which is one is creativity, and the second is critical thinking. So there's a very fine difference between these two. So creativity is like you can think of anything, right? You can just think of a solution. But critical thinking comes in when a solution is failing. Then you look for a turnaround, oh sorry, workaround, or some kind of solution which can fix or mend the things. So these are two very important things. Critical thinking comes from the very important concept in programming, which is debugging. So you should be really like I'm saying it to all the programmers here in the chat or the call. You should be really focusing on debugging because debugging is the one which is going to save you anywhere in your job, and that brings critical thinking. And second is creativity. Creativity is sometimes it's just a gift to you. You are, yeah, you are just gifted, or sometimes it is you can improve your creativity by solving some riddles or playing some games which consume your brain and just train your brain. It's like that.
I see. So do you think
uh,
grades matter when you hire people for a job? Do you prefer like them to have of course they should have like a portfolio and stuff like that, right?
Okay, let me come back to your question. First, I want to answer Ming's question. He
Mm.
posted a couple of questions already there. What
Okay.
are the interview questions they ask for software devs interns? I cannot say for each and every interviewer, but I can talk from my side. What I look is uh, is an attitude. I mean, sometimes inter you don't give your best in an interview. You just cannot do things or say answer things in a way you should do, and but still because maybe you are nervous or something, you just cannot answer. So it happened with Yasser, I guess. So Yasser is a very brilliant guy. I really admire his skills and approach towards programming and the love towards programming, but he kind of messed up in the interview. But we really like, so another these interns know, another colleague of mine, Ian, was there, and we were very confused. Like, this guy is not answering the question in a way which we want him to answer. He wasn't able to write a program for Fibonacci series, and I was like, man, you learned deep learning and you cannot answer Fibonacci. Okay, anyway, but I like this guy. His attitude is quite good. And yeah, so that's one thing I really look for interns. In interns interview. But before that, I want to mention that what comes first is a resume or your curriculum vitae. So it's very important to have a good CV. I mean, we as the shortlister, we have to go through a lot of resumes. Like, when we are in hiring season, we are going through like 15 to 20 resumes every day, and going through all the content, remembering all that, and then finalizing, also judging candidates from the resume design, resume content, how precise it is written, how long it is written, from where he has passed, the CGPA, GPA, all that you have to keep in mind, and then decide. So it's very hard to shortlist candidates. So my first suggestion is you should always keep your resume very concise, very short. And how to keep resume short is a trick that uh, interns actually, I mean, not interns, freshers actually never know, because they are not exposed to corporate environment, which is using key business keywords. So like, let's say you want to say that you save certain amount of time or certain amount of resource. So you can just say that saved X number of FTEs. So FTE stand for full-time employee. So you can write the whole thing in just one line rather than going for 2 lines. So that way you can concise it. Then you can LOB, like line of business. If you mention those kind of, it shows that you have an understanding of the business itself where you worked earlier. So those kind of things actually make a very good impression. It's very important also. So, okay, coming for second question. Uh, sorry. The question was what they ask in the interview. So definitely I go for very logical questions. I don't, uh, go deep into the framework of the programming. Like, if you have worked on Python, I won't go into too deep into Python. Or if you have worked in C Sharp, I won't go too deep into C Sharp. I just want to judge that how you think about a problem. Like, you know, I'll give you a simple problem, which might seem complex. I mean, if you guys remember, I always ask logical questions like ladder question or some doctor patient question, which is not related to any mathematics or any programming. It's just pure logic. You just have to think on the at the same time. There's no defined answer for it. So I just ask those kind of questions to to judge the critical thinking of the candidate. So yeah, that's very important for me, that how the candidate is looking towards a problem. But again, I mean, the nervousness is a issue there in every other interview. So I try my best to cheer up my candidates and just bring fun in interview, and yeah, to get them in their comfort zone, because that's very important actually. And the second is, what is the fresh grad salary for software? It might depend on in what team you are actually. So if you are in regional team, your salary could be a bit higher. If you are in local or say country team, it could be a bit lower, but it might range from 3,000 to, 4,000 or 5,000 sometimes also. But many times, a lot of people also come at lower, salary, just because they don't know, and just because they are desperate. And desperation is good. They want to grab a job in Grab, so that's good, because Grab is really a nice place to learn. It's a very good place actually. I really love Grab. And what about mid-level salary? Mid-level salary is around 6,000. and but the chance of hike is quite good if you are giving very good, like your output is very good. The chance of hike is very good. Do they hire mostly Malaysians or good mix of foreigners and local? I mean, country teams actually hire locals most preferably, because they are readily available and also they are cheap. Not like me, I'm a bit expensive. So so that is the reason why they prefer locals. But it depends on talents. Like if they're not able to find someone with a particular kind of talent, then they bring people from outside also. Singapore team does hire a lot of expats because with Singapore, salary is almost same for locals and expats. Do they have, okay, does uni degree matter? What if they have no degree? Actually, I asked Elise to drop out. Just join Grab, drop out.
Gautam asked all of us to drop out. Yeah.
Uni degree doesn't matter actually. It's good to have that on resume. It's very hard to, bypass the resume shortlisting if you don't have a uni degree, but your resume can be designed in such a way that it might give me a thought that I want to test this guy. This looks very interesting. I don't know what he's doing or she is doing, even though he doesn't have a degree. So that kind of approach, I mean, you have to balance things. Like if you don't have one thing, definitely you have to balance it somewhere, right? So a resume is the place where you balance it.
I see.
Might as well take a chance now.
Okay.
Okay, so what was your question, Ellie? Sorry, I forgot it.
I guess you kind of answered it, like what strengths you think are the most important for a developer. So I guess I'll just skip that. I guess maybe I'll go to this question. What is one advice you'd give to people starting off in tech? Yeah.
In tech,
Yeah.
not in any general field, right?
Yeah, just in tech, IT. Yeah.
So technology, or say IT, is a field which is evolving almost every day.
Yeah.
Not every day, almost every second actually. It's just new things are coming every second. So the most important thing is to keep you updated with the latest trends, business. I mean, okay, the first thing is a lot of things are coming every day. So how do you decide which one to go for? You always should look for those trends or skills which you think might impact the businesses most, right? So there are things which, like AI, it's the jobs are AI are there, but if one is looking for job, AI is not a good investment because comparatively the jobs are very less. You should go for something which is hot right now. And that's what my suggestion would be to all those aspirants who are looking for a quick job. Learn those things which are newest in market. Even interviewer doesn't know what to ask because he also doesn't know the technology.
I see.
So yeah, you will be top of the chain then.
Ah, that's good advice. Cool. Okay. My next question would be, so, oh yeah, so you're talking about you have to keep up with the latest technology trends. So, like, how do you yourself stay up to date with the latest trends? Like, what do you do to keep up with it? Yeah.
So I don't know whether so in my mobile phone I have this wall. Like if you can see, I just swipe here, and I get the news, right? So I have subscribed to those channels. I'm not sure about if this is available in iPhone or other Android devices. I have Samsung, so definitely I have. So I keep liking those things which are related to tech. So Google automatically, knows my choice and suggest automatically the things which I want to learn about. And the second thing is very important, which is LinkedIn. I don't know how many of you know the potential of LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is something very good actually. It's just one of the best social networks. You can learn a lot from there because a lot of people keep posting very good things on LinkedIn. I spend almost 1 hour every day on LinkedIn, and I get a lot of links from there. Then I go deeper. I mean, once you jump into something in some page, you learn about something, then something else will come. Like you are learning about VMware, right? And something comes up, thin client, thick client, and zero client. Now you're thinking, oh, what the crap is thin client, thick client, and zero client? I mean, even if you know thin client and thick client, zero client is 99.99% don't know what is zero client. So those kind of things come up, and I then jump onto those things to learn about them too. So that's how I keep. It's like very exponential. Once you jump into something, it will lead to something else. I have a question though. Question to the interns. Oh, okay, it's to the interns.
It's okay. We'll answer that later, but thanks for that response. Next question. What are your favorite automation tools?
That's a very
UiPath.
that's a very tough question actually,
Or
because
do you prefer like old school Selenium coding?
I
Those
don't
kind of.
I don't prefer Selenium, but it's sort of compulsion because Selenium is open source, Python is open source. You don't have to buy licenses. And just to inform you guys, Grab is now going for UiPath license. So now UiPath has grown. It's like many people are using it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's like very up and coming.
yeah. But the thing is that with UiPath and other things is you need license. So basically, with Selenium and Python, I have a bit of compulsion. With UiPath, I get an advantage that it is the community edition is free. But if we talk about my favorite tool, then it is Blue Prism. Blue Prism is just best, man. It's so good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet, but I'll look
Uh,
into it.
yeah. Maybe I'll share the topics, what I talk about, the answer I gave, and maybe I can share links of few videos which are related to this talk, and you can go through them later.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so wanted to ask also, do you have any, would you like to share some of your biggest software developer achievements? Like when do you feel like, aha, I managed to create something and it's like, what do you call, it really
So,
created an impact.
so there are three instances actually I can think of. One was a web portal which was written in Angular. Angular 1 actually, I had to convert it in. It wasn't actually written also. There was a basic framework with no UI, just some functions. So my boss asked me. Then I was in Tech Compiler Data Systems in Delhi. My boss asked me to learn it in like 3 days, understand the code, what is already there, then create a whole new framework in Angular in 1 month, which was like a web portal which very much looked like Windows. So like you right click, there is a context menu, you have move, create, delete, update, drag, image editor, all that in that web portal. Me and my colleague, one of my, he was not intern, but like my junior, uh, yeah, so we did it, and it was very good actually. And there were actually much more than that. Like just right clicking on file, you can send it directly to some email. Like there were options like that. It was quite good. It looked almost like Windows. I mean, even though Windows is something else. I mean, we cannot create Windows, but it looks something like that, and also making it compatible to mobile screens, like for each side of screen, like writing the media query. Those who don't know what is media query, it's for making responsive websites to, adapt to the screen size. And
Yeah,
media
yeah.
query is written in cascading style sheet, which is called CSS also. So that was one. The second one was when Alan asked me to learn Python in 1 week and create a solution for statement generation. That was like a headache because I had zero knowledge about Python, and yeah, but I did it. So it was quite good. I had a very positive vibe inside me.
How did
Yeah.
you manage to learn Python in 1 week? Like, care to share?
Yeah. So it's funny, but I have a mode of operating which I call beast mode. So when I when I go in beast mode, I can do a lot of things, I guess. So yeah, I just don't sleep in nights. Then like yeah, I have to sacrifice a lot of things like my sleep, my food, but I managed to do it somehow. That's what I did in Deloitte too. So Deloitte also asked me to clear seven certification and like seven certifications in 1 week for UiPath. I wasn't able to do seven, but I did five. That was a big achievement. So yeah, I mean, even though
Wow.
I didn't know anything about UiPath before joining Deloitte, so it was good.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm on to my last question for you.
Hmm.
My last question would be, um, why why work at Grab instead of other big companies out there? Why choose Grab?
I think Lucas already answered that in the group. Uh, why choose to, stay in Grab? There are two questions actually here. Why choose Grab to join, and why choose to stay in Grab? So, okay, yeah. So when I joined Grab, it was okay. When I came for the interview in Grab, so Alan is my manager, and he is one of the most sincere guys. He is one of the best critical thinkers I have ever met. And but when he came into the meeting room, he was wearing shorts, and I was like, I was in full suit, coat, pant, tie, and everything. I'm like, what the hell? This place is so lit. I want to be here. So yeah, that was one of the reason why I joined Grab. But it was also the question asked by Ellen. They were very brilliant questions and very intelligent question, and I had a hard time answering those. But fortunately, I was able to answer those questions. They were not technical. They were very business oriented. So that's what happens when you are a bit experienced in the field. You must learn about management and business processes. Or if you're expecting that people are going to ask you only technical questions, it's not like that. You are going to have a lot more. Yeah. Why to stay in Grab? I guess I get to experiment a lot with different cloud portals like AWS, Azure, with different programming languages. I have my own VMs. I can create them. I can create data services pipeline, data analysis tools, whatever I just want. I have Salesforce, like big tools. Salesforce is a very big tool. Salesforce itself, if you learn it itself, is a skill. You can get a job on the basis of that only. So it just adds on to your resume. So those kind of things. I mean, there are a lot of things in Grab to learn. It's very good.
Uh, I think I also personally I learned a lot from Grab. A lot of life
Yeah.
life lessons as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how to be a team while playing football.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Gautam. Yeah. Could you? So I guess now I'll present a bit about my internship experience.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just. Okay. Yeah. So here is a timeline of my software developer journey. Yeah, back in 2014, I started out by learning Scratch, making games to create programs. That was like my first exposure to programming, I'll say. And I took A levels, computer science, and finally, currently I'm a final year computer science student in Monash University. And yeah, the present, I joined Grab back in December 2019 until this year, March. Yeah. So I'll talk a bit about my experience at Grab, like how I managed to get my first internship. So to be honest, I failed multiple interviews at many at many companies. My grades weren't that spectacular, and I feel like at the time I didn't have much confidence in myself. I actually failed the first interview at Grab for the software engineer role. Yeah, but I didn't give up. I kept on pursuing many different companies, and finally I got the call from Grab's HR saying that, oh, they have a position open and they would like to ask me to go for an interview for business process automation. Yeah, so I went to Grab's company, went to their building, and during the whole interview, Gautam and another guy, Ian, came in, and I was really nervous because I didn't prepare much for the interview, but I tried to stay confident. Yeah, and they actually, Gautam and Ian were really nice when they interviewed me. So I tried really hard to impress them with like my personal projects, like going to hackathons, my final year project. Yeah, and when it came to the coding test, like it took me a while to actually solve the Fibonacci question, but I kept on trying, and I think Gautam liked my persistence. Am I right? Yeah, so I think during my interview, I just tried to solve all the questions. I didn't give up. I think that was one thing that helped me pass. Yeah. And sooner, like right after the interview, I got a call from them saying they wanted me. And yeah, that was how I got the internship for Grab. Yeah. And I think some key things that I learned is that you should definitely build a portfolio for yourself regarding like personal projects. Maybe build a chat bot or build a web app. Yeah, those definitely help you in getting an internship. Yeah. And I guess so to talk about my experience, I learned a lot about web scraping during Grab. Web scraping, VMs, bot infrastructure, using how to use like how to create Slack bots and manage them, API calls, GCP. I think I learned quite a lot, yeah, especially the DevOps part of computing, yeah. So I guess that sums up pretty much my experience with Grab. And currently, just to answer the question, the question that Eugene asked, like how do what kind of self-learning projects I've been doing. So currently I've been working on a FB Messenger bot that will help me track my homework for the week. Like I can just type in add homework and then it'll directly add that homework task into my Google Calendar. Yeah, so this is one of my personal projects I've been doing on the side apart from school, just to, you know, keep my mind creative, yeah, and keep on learning. So that's what I've been doing for personal projects. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we can now go to the Q&A session where anyone from the chat room can ask their questions. So someone asked, what does the future of Grab look like? Gautam, would you like to answer?
Yeah. So Grab's future if you talk about near future, it's very, I won't say unstable, but the picture is not very clear. It's going to be either stable or maybe not very good, because the reason is the business is quite down. But if slowly and gradually people have started moving and going out, ordering food, so which is a good thing, because Grab is dependent on these kind of things. I mean, if there's no rider or there's no food customer, definitely it is going to hurt Grab, and not just Grab, any other company like Food Panda or Uber. So a lot of companies actually, like these companies, have actually fired people. Like they on a 2 minute call or 3 minute call, they just keep firing people. That's what is happening with a lot of people. But fortunately, it didn't happen with Grab. The good thing about Grab is that everyone cares a lot about other employees or their colleagues or their subordinates. they look out for them. It's not all about money. Grab, they help the physically impaired people to come into, as a partner in Grab, something like that. They help a lot. So that's a good thing. But the thing is, after 1 year, definitely something will happen which is not unprecedented, because businesses are now thinking from a very different perspective. Because COVID is, say, tip of iceberg. Now, what researchers, scientists, and all those, professors in university, what they found is that this is not the first pandemic which is going to happen in this decade. We are going to have many more, and many more like deadly one. So because things are deteriorating slowly and gradually. So I don't know whether you know or not, there was a locust swarm which went to Pakistan and India this year. And this locust swarm can, like, a very small swarm can eat food of like 2,500% in one day. So they're eating all the crops. So it's just so bad. So, like, there are many difficulties we are facing in these times, and this is all happening because of the climate change. The birds, I mean, if you cut down trees, birds won't have any place to live, right? If birds die, then of course insects will grow up. If insects grow up, it's like a butterfly effect. You change one thing, it will change everything. So this is happening. So a lot of countries and organizations have started thinking from a very different perspective. They want to uh, digitalize their operation as much as they can. Same will happen to the Grab, but in general sense, like, I think it's Twitter, which just announced that by 2021, their 60% workforce will be working from home. So it's going to be like that. I mean, you can see things like that with every other industry.
Mm. Will Grab also implement this work from home policy for like the rest
Hmm.
of the year?
Sorry?
Will they also implement the work from home policy for the rest of the year?
I'm not sure, but it's not compulsory yet. I mean, even though there's team A, team B, I'm in team A, I have to go to office on team A weeks, but I don't go. I'm working from home, and nobody actually asked me to go to office.
I see.
There's a question that which is better, to be expert in certain programming language or always keep up with new programming language. Um, so that's a tough choice to make, but you have two choices, and both are very difficult. One is either you become jack of all, which in fancy words is full stack developer, what I am. But I'm not just expert of everything, it's just jack of all. So nobody can be expert in everything. That's the truth. Or you can be expert in one. You just pick one programming language. Just don't go about, you know, when I said that you should be looking for new things coming in, it doesn't mean you should look for programming. I want to explain one thing, but maybe after this. But the first to answer this question is, don't look for newer programming languages. Look for new technologies. Like, I'm not saying you learn Blue Prism or UiPath, but I'm saying you learn RPA. I'm not saying learn Python to do blockchain. I'm saying learn blockchain. So there's a difference, right? So you look for newest trends, excel in that. No matter in which programming language you go for, it would be good. But programming language, you should always be focusing on some legacy one. The reason is that you get a lot of support on Stack Overflow or GitHub with new programming. So, like, do you guys know Node.js? I hope a lot
Yeah.
of you know
No,
already, right?
yes.
So the creator of Node.js, I mean, it's not very old, right? It's comparatively new compared to, say, C Sharp or Python or those kind of languages, right?
Yeah.
But the creator of this language again created a new language which is called Dino.js, which is, again, if you shuffle the name of Node.js, it's Dino.js.
Oh yeah.
So okay, so there is something which I really want to tell you guys. I mean, because I remember you asked this question, which I wasn't able to answer then, and you then forgot the question. It was the future of programming. I guess, right?
Yeah,
What is going to,
future.
yeah, so future of programming. So to understand the future of programming, I think it's very important to understand the history of programming. So just to give you a hindsight, the a very interesting fact actually is the first computer, not first computer, was a calculator, was invented in 2700 BC, somewhere between 2700 to 2000 BC. And it was called abacus. If you guys know what is abacus, it's for calculation, multiplication. You can, calculate numbers in millions also. Then in 87 BC, there was another computer which is called Antikythera. Antikythera was, able to calculate planetary motions, solar eclipses, lunar eclipses. You just have to roll a single, it was a lever. You roll, it will give a calendar of 19 years with everything, eclipses and everything. And that's how it got, evolved. So it started from 2700 BC, and then, uh, there were computers like which were having vacuum tubes. Then transistors came in, but until 1980s it was very the growth was very exponential. People were doing a lot of things and finally coming up with something, because transistor wasn't the first solution after vacuum tubes. There were many other things, but they kept experimenting and they found something which was just best, or say absolute by them. Then they went into VLSI. To VLSI is very large in scale integration of transistors, and then they came up with there's Intel chips and all those. So it was a growing trend. But after 1980s, when programming languages started, getting evolved. So like before this, it was COBOL and Fortran and all that. After this, C came, then C++ came, then many languages came. I really like Lisp, which is especially meant for artificial intelligence programming. And there is no, a perfect replacement for Lisp yet date. I mean, to till date, it's there's no perfect replacement. Lisp is just so good, but the learning curve is very steep. So in today's date, we have like over 100,000 programming languages. It's very hard to, choose between them. So you should always go for the support. The problem with today's language creator is that they keep coming up with new things. They don't try to improve things. That's what's happening with the hardware industry, right? They keep, enhancing the hardware rather than just improve the software. Make the software run on a lighter hardware. It's so simple. You will cut down the cost. You will save the nature. You will use less resources, but people don't do it. So I mean, if you can focus on those things, that would be great. But if you can't, then your immediate choice should be the language which have more support. For legacy, I'll go for C Sharp or Java. For hybrid, I'll go for Python. For scripting, I'll go for maybe Angular or Node. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, thank you, Gautam. And I think we'll go for the last few questions.
Yeah.
How has COVID-19 affected Grab's business so far?
A lot. It is getting better, but yeah, a lot. Especially the cab or say ride hailing was almost drowned. So ride hailing was redirected towards food delivery then. That also supported food delivery guys also, and it's good that Grab kept running. I mean, the pressure was tremendous. I cannot explain that how much pressure was there. I mean, especially being an automation guy, when a lot of people are at home, they cannot do work effectively, and we needed to scale few things very fast. So there was a lot on my end to automate. It was just overwhelming. So yeah, but so there was a lot of improvement in Grab's business, but at the same time, it was impacted also.
Mm,
Yeah.
I see. I'll answer this question. What if you don't have any hackathon experience, plus you don't learn much from your school project or personal project? I think for me, I would suggest to build your own website. I think that would be the easiest way to start off
Yeah, I mean, do something. You cannot
Just
just come without anything. But one thing which you really need to bring with you, whatever project you have, is your wittiness. You should be knowing what you're doing. And I'll suggest you all, or say advise you all, to not just look into IT industry just as a programming professional. Think from a bigger perspective. If you really want to grow, you think from business perspective, how businesses work, what are the business flows inside an organization. That is most important key thing in any organization that gives you a edge over any other person. Yeah.
thanks. Will the Hacker Collective host a town hall project session on chatbots? Yes, we are thinking of doing that soon. Yeah. And for the last question, is Grab fluid about moving between departments, tech roles? I think
I'm
Gautam
not sure.
asked.
Sorry, what was the question? I'm not
Is
sure.
Grab fluid about moving between departments or tech roles?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, the good thing about Grab is, like with many other organization, people are like, no, like your manager won't let you go because you have dependency. But with my organization, say Grab, it's not like that. People encourage you all know from the other side too. Like if there's no vacancy in a particular department, what you are targeting, of course you cannot move. But if
Hmm.
I, I am posting a link here. I suggest you guys go through this. This is very informative. It's not about improving your skills in programming, but it's about how programming evolved and where it is going and where it will go.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Gautam, for coming for this webinar and being so sporting.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you, everyone. I mean, I
Yeah.
wish you great time and just stay safe.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming. If you have any future questions, feel free to ask. Feel free to contact Gautam on LinkedIn. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
you're most welcome. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you're most welcome.
yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's all. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye everyone.